This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to Free Agency Friday, Free Agent Friday, whatever you want to call it, coverage here on Dolany TV. My goodness, the old tripped old shoe was a good one. As now that's out of the way, the pizza's been eaten for Friday night, and yes, sirree, we're back to talking Edmonton Oilers hockey here on the channel this evening. And my friends, three other guys were signed by the Oilers outside of Kyle Turris and Tyler Ennis today, and all three of them unlikely to see any major or any at all NHL time next season. But these guys going in there replacing a group of guys in the AHL, obviously, right, is you're allowed 50 contracts, a 50 contract cap in the NHL, and the Oilers, well, they got rid of some guys on contracts this year on the farm team, and now they need to fill out the bodies, especially if some of the bodies that are on loans over in Europe do not return to the AHL squad for next season. So that is where these guys come in. The names, you saw them in the title of the video: Alan Quine, Seth Griffith, and Anton Forsberg. So if I'm going to right here give you 5 seconds of my time to give you an idea, the one most likely to play NHL time is Anton Forsberg, the goaltender that we signed today. Why would I pick Anton Forsberg to be that guy? Simply because Anton Forsberg is the organizational number 3 goalie now. That's the way it translates to for Anton Forsberg. He is now comes in, replaces Shane Sterrett, who had that role with the Bakersfield Condors, being the organizational number 3 for the Oilers. In terms of if you needed substantial games out of a guy, you would be playing Shane Sterrett at the NHL level. However, yes, Tyson, wait a minute. Well, if that's true, why did we see Stuart Skinner on the NHL bench for a game this year? You saw him because Shane Sterrett struggled with injuries all season long, and hence that is why Shane Sterrett is not the organizational number 3 no longer. It is now Anton Forsberg. So Anton Forsberg coming over from the Charlotte Checkers and Carolina Hurricanes organizations. And let me see if I can find my little cutout sheet on him for his stats off of Elite Prospects, because that's where we're using today. There is no real hockey-reference.com for these guys. As you see here, listed now for the 2021 season with the Edmonton Oilers. But you look at it here, he had a total of a .905 save percentage and .295 goals against average in 27 games played. After a little stat check, that is also 15 wins in there in the AHL level. He played 3 games of .335 goals against average and an .897 save percentage at the NHL level this past season. Like I said, organizational number 3. You're not talking Anton Forsberg is the guy that goes out there and is our backup this year. I don't think that's the plan. And let me tell you, according to who's still on the free agent market, I wouldn't think that's the plan. And then he goes back to the 18-19 season with the Rockford Ice Hogs, plays 32 games, 264 goals against average, .917. That's some nice numbers. Played a pretty much full season for a goaltender in 17-18 with the Blackhawks, 297, .908. I believe that is the year Corey Crawford really struggled with injuries. And you see, dating back to that, he goes all the way back to the Columbus Blue Jackets organization, and the numbers have never been really good for Anton Forsberg at the NHL level, so don't read too much into this guy making an impact, but he does make an impact simply by being in the system and steadying our goaltending in case certain guys do not return from loan, i.e. Olivier Rodrigue, depending what happens with Stuart Skinner, and of course Dylan Wells. So now we move on to, do we want Alan Quine? Let's go with Alan Quine next. He's at the top of my list here, so might as well. All right, Alan Quine. This is an interesting guy, a Calgary Flames player. Played a total of 9 games this year, 1 goal for the Flames. Had 3 playoff games, 3 games played, and an assist for the Calgary Flames this playoff year. And of course had 46 points in 38 games played at the AHL level. So here's the beauty for him. This is a guy who doesn't score a bunch of points at the NHL level. I mean, back in 16-17 and 17-18 with the New York Islanders in 82 games, the guy scored 21 points. That's pretty good, but I mean, solidly at best a 4th line player for stopgap measures, essentially. Alan Quine, though, you see that Grand Rapid Griffins in there as well. What you need to know about him is the fact that he ended up getting redrafted by the New York Islanders after being a Ken Holland draft pick. He was redrafted 2013 round 6, number 166 overall by the New York Islanders. And Alan Quine started his career with the Detroit Red Wings, but then moved on. So yes, this is a pick that Ken Holland is familiar with. This is a guy that Ken Holland had a little hand in developing way long ago. So that's your connection to Alan Quine and why he is now in the Oilers organization. Again, this is probably your move. You look at those stats for Alan Quine at the AHL level and what he's capable of producing at the NHL level. This is probably your move that replaces Josh Curry. And I mean, I say that name, Bakersfield Condors fans get emotional because that guy was the heart and soul. Josh Curry, by all definitions of the word, was the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins of the Bakersfield Condors over the last several years, and now he's moved on, signed a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and finds himself in uncharted territory after spending a long time in Bakersfield. He made his NHL debut with the Oilers. It was a special moment for a lot of people down south in California, so thankfully we got some memories along the way, but it does suck. I really wanted to see Curry at some point this year. That just passed in the NHL. It never came to pass. That really sucked. But you know what? Hopefully in Pittsburgh, he moves on. The last time we let somebody go for nothing pretty much to Pittsburgh, look at what he became. Top 4 defenseman, John Marino. But just saying, Josh Curry, is he the next one in that line? So let me get you the stats here on Seth Griffith. And then that should wrap us up and finish off our discussion on these guys today. Seth Griffith, there is a connection here, and you'll see it in a moment as we'll scroll down to this. Bang, bang, and you'll see the Providence Bruins pop up on your screen. The Boston Bruins in 14-15. Oh, all of a sudden, some things make sense for some Oilers fans. 10 points in 30 games played with the Bruins in 14-15. 4 points in 15-16, and then with the Toronto Maple Leafs, 3 games played, nothing. Had a couple games with the Panthers, 21 total, 5 points, nothing major, and then went off to Buffalo, had 3 points in 21 games, and has now since been putting up good numbers at the AHL level in the Manitoba Moose organization, which is, of course, the Winnipeg Jets minor league team that plays at the Bell MTS Center as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the rest of the class. That is the minor league depth class, right? You talk about replacing guys. We've lost some certain guys out of the minor league farm system, and especially if guys don't return, we got to have a backup for them, and these guys are the backups. Alan Quine, 27 years old. Seth Griffith, 27 years old. And Anton Forsberg, 27 years old as well. All guys that can come in and contribute at the AHL level and have NHL upside. Seth Griffith being a center/winger, and I believe Alan Quine is a center/winger as well. So guys that can play both situations and succeed. So we'll see kind of what happens here moving forward for the Edmonton Oilers into the rest of free agency. I think the big name left around our table is Tyson Berry. That seems to be the last real question mark, and of course who we find in net going into next season. A guy like, I believe, Corey Crawford is still available, and that would be, by me, a pretty popular pick to offset Koskinen, a guy that's gone out and won some Stanley Cups and could very well just kind of backstop, right? Exactly what Mike Smith did, except probably just a little bit better. And that's the thing. Guys, here you ask how much the Oilers need to improve in net. The Oilers just need to take away the stupid goals, right? The Mike Smith cost you that goal, and you all of a sudden see the Oilers win 3-4 extra games in Mike Smith starts, and you get rid of a couple of really bad starts, and the Oilers can erase some deficits that way, and suddenly, yeah, you know what? Bing, bang, boom. Yeah, the Oilers might go from a second place in the Pacific Division team to a first place in the Pacific Division team. And you look at that, flip the script here. Mike Smith starts in net for the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 1, and Corey Crawford starts for the Oilers. Take your chances. How does that work in that 4-game series? That's just something to think about, right? And I think that's kind of my next kind of move on with goalie target. I'm really looking, hopefully, at a guy like Corey Crawford. I don't know what's left available in the goaltending market. We will discuss that tomorrow. Hopefully, we will be discussing who the Oilers have added in free agency tomorrow. That would be a much better idea. So let me do one last thing here. I got halfway through a tweet and then forgot to tag the link, so let's get to that. Bing, bang, boom. Done. Oilers sign Ennis and Turris. If you're just watching that on Twitter right now, thank you for doing that. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an interesting day. It was a long day. All right, I worked a lot of hours today, but hey, you know what? End of the day, guys got to work to enjoy the hockey, and you know what? I still got to enjoy the hockey today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Stolany TV. I am up on out of here.